Alright, The Boys in the Boat. This movie was directed by George Clooney and written by Daniel James Brown and Mark L. Smith. This is a 1930s set story centered on the University of Washington's rowing team from their Depression era beginnings to winning gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. So starting off from the get-go, the film communicates that this is the Depression era really well. We are introduced to Joe Rance in this community of makeshift homeless shelters that it seemed hundreds were living in. This film communicated successfully that it wasn't just older people that went through this, that felt the hit, but this younger generation did, and from a very early age. Joe Rance is our lead, our protagonist. He actually sounds a little bit like Chris Evans when he talks. He's a character who has had a very strained life. He's gone through a lot, the era he's living in right now. He's incredibly financially unstable, and he gets no help from any relatives because he has none that would help him. And unfortunately, despite this very powerful story and very difficult beginnings on paper, this should have been a very moving film. And I just can't say that this was. For most of the film, the character Joe Rance seems very robotic, monotone, and lifeless. Humanizing a character is not only about showcasing their difficulties and their everyday struggles, but also be good at communicating that this is a person who has hopes and dreams. And Joe Rance in this film seemed like a robot for the most part. I would say the script was not really giving the actors the most benefit. That's the thing with the whole film for me. It just felt very soulless. You have a very powerful story and you do what with it? There are many scenes that don't have payoff. For example, Joe Edgerton's character, the coach, Coach Al, he goes into the locker room for the first time and he investigates his athletes' locker rooms and he sees that the struggle that they go through, that there's holes in their shoes, that their clothes are ripped, but nothing is done from this. And so because of that, the continuity of the story wasn't always there, especially in the races. It was very difficult to know who was where, how many boats were in this race, who was winning. There's a position in this row crew of this person who's at the end of the boat. They have some sort of speakerphone so that everyone from the back of the boat can hear them. They're shouting out orders, positions, things to do. And it sounds terrible in the film. I cannot make any single word this guy is saying. In the races scene, it takes you out of it. This was the script's fault. And the reason is because it's a common denominator across all performances. I have seen Joe Edgerton give an amazing performance, and in this one, it just wasn't. Everyone felt like they could play each other. However, I will say there was a really standout scene, and that's at the end of the film. It's the last race, and it involves who I consider to be the best actor in this film. Not that he was given a lot or that he gave a spectacular performance, but with what he was given, I believe he really gave more than everybody else. And this actor was Luke Slattery. He plays Bobby Mock. There's a particular scene with him and another row crew member. You just really feel that intensity and the passion, and then it's gone. The editing was very choppy. The film was not good at showcasing which of these races were and why they were so important. There's a romance in this film that is somewhat cute, but that's as best as it gets. This film, man, like, it just had so much more potential. This is a row crew who originally joined this college team out of necessity, and I feel like that's never explored. We never get to the point where, okay, I'm doing this for money, to then I'm doing this because I love it and because it means something, that we actually push so hard that we go to the Olympics. The connection's not there. The passion for the sport is not communicated. It was pretty obvious Callum Turner's character was going through a lot and he had a lot on his mind, and it just seemed like the audience was always left outside of it. And because of that, he was very dry. And that's unfortunately the best way I could describe this film. It was just very dry for me. I'm going to give this film a C-. This film is rated PG-13, and honestly, it's for 2 curse words. I believe it was just 2 throughout the whole film. This movie's actually really clean. It involves a couple kissing, but it doesn't become anything more than that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like this video. I have more coming soon. Thank you guys for the support. See you next time.